about January 1st at midnight is the look on the guy at Walmart's face when it's 12:01 and you're like, I want a fishing license.
Let's go. Do you really shoot the halibut once you get them close to the surface?
We just shoot the halibut every Thursday.
Fellas, get back in that current.
I love it.
I hate That's you. All right.
I hate me too, bud.
It's okay, Ryan.
I'm like a really fat branch, definitely.
Should we just fast forward to the part where I say, so you got skunked?
I have a question for you. So
You came to the right place, bud.
no, listen.
And we are back. You are listening to the Rotten River Pursuits podcast. We are Reality Outdoor Radio, where our mission is to get you in the outdoors by connecting you with the people, skills, and products you can trust. You can trust them. Mm-hmm. I'm Ryan. Who do I got with me tonight?
I'm Steve.
I'm Will.
And it's Bucky. Boys, I got to tell you something.
What?
It's a lot easier to do that opener with all you sitting around the table with me.
Yeah, how about it?
Bless your
I'm
heart.
so glad to do that and have people here to go,
Yeah. Do you ever have to dub your own voice, record all three parts?
He has, but he won't release that podcast.
I do it in
I love me some Meepod.
do you do Ribberty Biverty? I do my own 3-part harmony.
Yeah.
And I just overlay the tracks.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In the still of the night.
Because the only person that can harmonize with me is me. Welcome back to the in-studio sessions, boys.
Hello.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. It's kind of it's like empty nest.
Yeah.
It's so quiet here in the studio.
I miss it.
There's not crowds everywhere. There's not people,
We could see if we could get Bucky to fire up some of these duck calls. He was hitting them earlier. What a great time. I know we already did our recap show, but boy, it's just hard to not think about how much fun we had.
Stevie, were you there for the recap?
I was not. No.
Maybe,
So what
do you
was-
have anything
Yeah,
that
Steve,
you would
what's
like
your
to
big
recap?
takeaway, bud?
I think from our standpoint, I know that maybe we didn't hit this side of it. But from the podcast standpoint, I thought we did, as a group, killed it.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Like a
really,
pack of wolves?
Like a pack of wolves, yeah. And it was. I wasn't able to spend as much time as I have in past years this year. But while I was there, we were productive. We were getting work done. We were talking to people. And it was probably, from my standpoint, it was the best show we've ever covered. I know we talked a lot about that with the NRA, and I don't want to rehash everything that was already said, but I'm really proud of you guys.
Away, bud. He can edit it out.
I'm really proud of you guys. That's probably what I'm trying to say is, every one of you really knocked it out of the park. Really
So
gave
did you,
100%.
bud.
So
You crushed it.
I carried your attaché every day.
Did you?
Yeah. In memory.
That's a fancy word for
folder.
Binder.
Your binder. That you never
binder.
use.
It is leather bound.
You never use it. I've carried it for 3 outdoor shows.
I know. That is the funny part, too, because I was like, do you want
never
your
used it. I think I've used it more than you have.
know I can't go there without my attaché.
Are you sure? We really have never used it.
It's like your little...
I've left it many places.
Yeah.
And we've had to
we know you don't need
multiple times.
You've used it as an anchor.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you do anything? Is there,
I gotta
put
go back
cards in there? Do you do any kind of...
No, there's cards in there. I
put all my mental notes in there.
Cards in our cards.
That's where I keep them.
Other people's cards.
So, from the 2020 show, Stevie, what was the favorite thing that you had at the show? What was your favorite thing to see?
My favorite thing to see.
Top Gun.
Oh, my favorite thing to see.
Let me rephrase it if it's easier.
Yeah.
Is there a product that you saw that you either A, purchased, or B, know that you will someday purchase it?
I do. Well, I purchased more trout magnet rods.
What?
Actually, Ryan purchased more trout magnet rods for me. I love those.
Good deal.
Yeah.
What happened to your old ones?
Well, one I slammed in the truck
Well,
tailgate.
That's no bueno.
Yeah. But they're just nice that my kids are starting to get more interested in trout fishing, and it's too hard to try to do it with one. You know, they all want to. They all want to
sore lip them all.
Yeah, they all want to sore lip them. So that was why. So it's a good excuse.
Those are nice rods too.
They are. They're very, very extremely reasonably priced, which is right up my alley.
They're fantastic to fish with.
Yeah, they work great for trout or small panfish or even
ultralight.
I bass fish
fun.
with them.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to fish.
I sent 2 of those ghost runners, one with catfish and one down the bug.
Did you?
Yeah.
That was another thing. The more I thought about it.
Oh, the ghost drag.
Yeah, ghost drag. Yeah, the more I thought about it, man, that's such a simple. And I've thought in my head, because I've thought in my head about using bread ties and rubber bands and stuff like that. But that is a head slapper. So I wish those guys good luck, a lot of luck, because that's.
I loved his story that he had to tell about what led to the fact that he had that story to sell his product with, and that was fantastic.
Yeah.
What was the story?
How he went on a trip, and it was probably the worst
fishing trip ever.
Worse than a catfish.
They went to Isla Morada.
Yeah, and had the worst weather.
The weather was terrible. They couldn't get. It was the captain says the worst weather in 10 years or something.
Did his wife get stolen? Did he jump a scooter?
No.
Did he have to poop into a bag in the
a hole in the ground? No, it's nothing like that.
And then look for his money underneath it?
Yeah. Anyway.
It wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't like that.
It was the worst trip ever.
You got to go back and listen to that episode.
That Roatan.
Yeah.
Lacey just posted a pic from that.
She did, didn't she? With a barracuda.
Today, with the
Wahoos.
Yeah. Wahoo McDaniel.
My favorite interview, and this should come as no surprise, was with Dave from CCA, which everybody else just heard.
I learned a ton from that.
That was I did too, and I love those.
He's so smart. like
literally, like
SMRT.
If you added all of our heads together, it would. Nah, we're still not there.
We're doing math, bud.
We're still not there.
Like a sword fight?
I mean, but he's so hyper-focused on that data.
I was really... And Dave, if you're listening... I feel like you were really leading me on there for 45 minutes, and you were building up to it.
That's a long time.
Building up to it, and then you slapped me in the face with the "you can't fish till May."
Poor fella.
He hit you right in the loins with that, didn't he?
In the feels.
Yeah, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes.
Can't you target
No.
Can't you target catfish or something?
Yeah, I mean, check your eggs, but historically you've been able to target catfish or perch or other things.
The white perch?
Yeah. But the issue then, and one of the things that Dave talked about was, white perch is one thing. You're using, small hooks and small pieces of bloodworms, but for catfish you're using 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 odd hook and a big you're soaking a chunk. You're going to do the same thing for catching a striper.
Guys aren't willing to sit on a chunk for 24 hours.
Not nowadays.
You don't have to worry about
the
tides.
You don't have to worry about the tides because you're going to get 4 of them.
Fish them all.
You're going to fish them all if you're doing it right. But yeah, so I guess, I don't know. It's funny you bring that up, because I mentioned one time I asked, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, so hopefully, Maryland DNR.
Check your regs, Stevie.
Don't don't shut us down. But one time I did ask the Maryland, I think it's Maryland DNR, DNCR, I can't remember what it is, Maryland fish guys, about that. How do you, if I'm fishing on a pier for catfish, which is a legitimate thing to do, it's what I've done it before.
We love catfish.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's on the,
I love you too.
and this was this was on the Chop Tank Pier.
But I'll never say that about a guy.
Never. This was on the Chop Tank Pier where we fished. Well, that's the spawning river, and it's closed down for striped bass fishing. There's certain dates, check your regs, like we say. But if you're fishing there when it's closed and you catch a striped bass, I ask, what do you do? What am I supposed to do if I'm targeting blue cats or channel cats and a striped bass catches? You hook one, and their response to me on that occasion was, if you catch more than 2 in one spot, you better move. I mean, not in those words, but if you catch more than 2 in that spot, you need to move, because you could be easily considered as targeting them in that point. Now, who knows what?
But that's their definition.
Bingo. So how do you know? And that's the only definition that matters.
And we talked about that,
right,
with Dave.
But that's the definition that matters at the time. It's not, what my definition is. It's what, the guy that's going to take me to see the judge.
But even for a speeding ticket, it's not your job to argue the infraction at the scene of the crime while you're getting written up. That's what, like you said, why the judge is there, and that's when your opportunity to explain yourself.
Sure.
Well, by definition, they will be interpreting the law. So Dave pointed that out, that it is open to, it's a judgment call by the conservation officers at the time.
It's not one I want to get myself in that situation.
Why?
It's not worth it to me to fish, 2 weeks where I might not be able, where I otherwise wouldn't have been. I just wait the 2 weeks and be legal.
Yeah, you got less to worry about.
Go turkey hunting, Stevie.
Well, there you go. Turkey's mid-May for us, right?
But if you're in Maryland,
that's true. I don't want turkey hunt in Maryland, though.
You don't?
No.
Brother Pick will take you.
Yeah, he'll show you right where to go.
You got to
maybe I do
pay for a whole license
he'll call you right
2
in.
weeks.
For one trip.
Call him right in for you.
But you already have your license ready to go for Sea Duck coming up the next.
I don't think
you can't. It doesn't work like that. You got. You're buying for this year, not next year.
But wouldn't that include?
But you got to buy. I think check your regs. But for big game Maryland hunting, you have to buy an annual license. We didn't have to buy an annual license for sea duck hunting. I think I bought the 2 or 3 day pass.
You had a visitor like a 24-hour.
But that's check your regs.
That's correct. You're exactly right.
Lots of regs being checked.
Yeah, and you don't assume any responsibility for.
No, you don't even have to check them. You are absolutely correct on that. On those regs,
I would still.
I would
double check.
Double check them.
Stevie's on it. He's a Juris Doctorate on that law there.
Where money's involved in purchasing license, I'd
Juris Doctorate.
Remember.
Speaking of purchasing licenses, you bought your license, your fishing license here in PA, right?
Yeah, a couple years ago. I like to buy the annual or the multi-year ones because I forget.
Right. I'm due for one. I bought one for 3 years.
Yeah.
But back in 2016, and I need my 2020 one.
Protects you from inflationary costs.
I heard we don't have to display our license anymore.
Yeah, I
True
heard
statement.
that too. Yeah.
Is that's now official on the books?
I don't know if it's on the books, but
or do we have to wait till July 1?
It's on the Facebook books.
Well, that is true.
So I haven't seen this year's book.
Gotcha.
I haven't read it, but that's the
check this year's book then.
That's the
regs.
The rumor.
Would the regs be in that book?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but no, I like the button because you used to have to display the whole
kit and caboodle.
The whole kit and caboodle, which I have no problem doing.
Same
at
here.
all. But the button's nice. It classes it up a little bit.
churches it up, huh?
Yeah.
And if there's anything I know for sure about Stevie,
He
in his orange beanie cap and his
Classy.
red fox
He loves flair.
Class it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs about 10 pieces of
got
flair just
flair
to go.
for days.
certain panache to him.
No, it came in the mail the other day.
Mails is
And but I ordered it. Jeez, I don't know what it was. The first week in January, I think.
What do they have, like prisoners like upstate making them?
Boy, I don't know.
Send them out?
Maybe.
I'm not sure either.
I didn't ask. But this year the picture
the
is
books.
I think last year it was just orange. This year it's a pumpkin seed picture, which looks pretty cool. I forgot. It's in my car. I should have.
should buy two then.
Because the people listening to the podcast would have loved to seen that.
Yeah. Well, look it up.
Yeah.
It's a pumpkin seed. I think it's a pumpkin seed or a red ear sunfish one. Well, I know it's a pumpkin seed.
I heard it looks pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
A red-eared sunfish?
Yeah.
It'd match that red fox around.
I didn't know. They don't even have ears, right?
I don't know. They hear somehow, but not traditional.
What?
Lateral lines.
Lateral lines. I don't know where we were going with that. Where were you going with that?
I don't know. Bucky was steering that ship, and you guys were both going down with it.
Yeah.
I was just talking about
Making
the
small
license.
talk about the
There's
license.
CCA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have
Thanks,
to.
Ryan.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to display your license in Pennsylvania anymore. Which I think, in all honesty, I think that's a travesty. That to me, I feel the same way about that as the guys that think that Sunday hunting shouldn't be allowed because it's tradition. I think you should have to display your license proudly in Pennsylvania because it's tradition.
Are you going to still do that?
Absolutely, I'm still going to do it.
Thus the button.
That's the button. Yeah, I'm gonna.
I probably
Church it up.
I probably still will also. I don't do the button thing. I just have the license in the plastic holder, and I have it pinned to the back of my favorite fishing hat.
Yeah, like how many times would I have been? Because it's not necessarily an inconvenience, but if you get stopped while you're fishing, you know, to dig through your wallet or dig through your bag or whatever, I wonder how many times I haven't been stopped fishing. That the game commission or fish commission officer has just looked from a distance through binoculars or whatever and saw my license and left me alone. Like how many more times now are you going to see those guys, and they're gonna, which surprised me because now it's going to be more. They're going to have more confrontations with people. It's going to be more work to enforce.
Frisk them.
Yeah,
You think there's going to be more stop and frisk, huh?
I think it's going to. I don't know how it has to be, right? How else do you?
I think that's a valid point. We saw them doing it at Cow and Scout.
Oh yeah,
They're standing on the shoreline, and they're basically running through a checklist with every boat as they look around. Do I see PFDs? Do I see the license?
So
how many
now
people on
is
the
it
boat?
gonna? And probably I wouldn't imagine every day, but at least on like the first day of trout, everybody's gonna have to. When there's 50 boats on the lake, and they're watching us,
Like red-tail
get
hawks.
off- yeah.
So
Like
you
red-tailed hawks are gonna have to
Hawks.
display it, or you're gonna have to show them.
So what's next for us? Is it like,
I think
Is there
we
gonna
need
be
to start lobbying.
is there going to be a striper season at all for us?
Yeah, it's just shorter, and my favorite part of that season was catch and release.
Yeah.
There just wasn't a lot of people out, or as many people out, and I typically release them anyway. So
Now, during that catch and release season, could you scout, or would they move and migrate until
there's resident fish in the bay, and then there's the big migratory spawning fish, and you can catch them both. So that's why it was. There aren't many places. And I can't think of many in Pennsylvania or within driving distance of central Pennsylvania, within a day trip, where you can go catch the biggest fish I ever caught was a 42.5-inch striper, and I caught it on the beach.
Whoa!
In Annapolis at Sandy Point, and it was in April during catch and release. The week before, the week before, following it for many years, it always seemed like the week before trophy season started was a good week. Like the moon tide, or the moon tides, the moon phases, full moon.
That was a Van
all
Morrison
that.
song.
It was moon tides.
I've been
Catch Steve.
That was my experience, but
Neil Young sang the moon tide as well.
so what you can catch these big spawning fish.
Moon tide.
God love you. You can catch these big spawning bass
I'm trying to hang in there with this baby.
from the bank without it, because I didn't. I didn't have access to a boat. I didn't have, I wasn't going out trolling or anything like that.
But you had that moon tide.
But I had the moon tide, and I was on the bank
During the slack moon.
during a slack moon, the outgoing moon.
A waxing gibbous.
You guys are relentless. I love that about you.
Is that what you loves about us?
That's what I love about
That's
you.
why he clocks in every day.
Yep.
So what is the striper season? Are we gonna do the boat thing, or are you gonna?
I don't know, because it used to all line up perfectly, because we have 2 opening trout days in Pennsylvania, and then striped bass was sometimes it was right along that time, but it used to line up great, so I could get.
So
I
when
could
are we
get
gonna
my
get
trout
on a
fishing
boat?
fix, and I could get
Bucky says hell or high water.
really.
Yeah. When are we getting on a boat? Because I want to do that this year.
Trolling?
So here's
striped
the
bass.
thing. We may have all might not be
trolls.
lost.
Not for not for. I thought you meant trolling like at the lake. Not trolling. Never
Well,
mind.
no, you.
Oh my God.
You might be not.
He just totally not clarified himself.
You're not wrong with any of that.
Sounds good.
Because
Thanks for sticking
one
in there
thing-
with me, Stevie.
One thing I was talking with Catfish a little bit about
One of the best times I ever had for stripers was jigging.
was it? Yeah, and that's. Yes, I mean that's fun if trolling's
If
not
that's what
working.
you're into.
That's
your
what
thing.
you're into. If you find a
If
school,
you're
of
into
them.
catching fish and whatnot.
Well, what I was talking to Catfish about was maybe doing some trolling on Lake Mead, using the same stuff I troll, because there's hybrids in there.
Bunker spoons.
Yeah, bunker spoons, big swim shads, that sort of.
I thought I caught one in Lake Mead last summer on the troll.
Yeah.
And it was a carp.
You sacked that
Remember when we
carp?
went
Oh,
live?
man, that was
on that?
awesome.
I thought for sure I was pulling up one of them hybrids.
Yeah.
I
That
can't
thing
believe
fought
that.
and fought and fought.
And it looks like silver coming up.
Peel and drag every time I get it close. I'm like, this is something. This is special.
Well, and
It was. It was just
It was
carp.
a carp.
Justin was on
Straight to
to
hook.
something. JDC was on to something. He, was talking about how big the shad were there, and there's got to be something in there eating them. I don't know that we know how big the hybrids are in Lake Mead.
We should up our game. is
So
you're
what
saying.
what I'd like to do, is let's troll around with the stuff we troll with in the bay and see what happens.
Some of the
And that's
Tony Maja.
Yeah, we've got some Tony Maja bunker spoons and Magic Mojos and big swim shads, umbrella rigs.
Are you gonna run that wire line that sinks every 10 feet?
I don't have any of that, so we'll improvise.
Take it
but
down low.
Is there a time of day that would work better than another time?
The
No. All day long.
in the-
That way you fish it all.
you fish both tides.
Where Lake Mead tide.
Yeah, the Lake Mead tide.
Well, where I'm going with that is, there's a couple of things with Lake Mead. Number one, there is a no wake zone policy on the whole lake till like 10 a.m.
10.
Something like that. But there's also really good largemouth bass fishing. So what's to say we couldn't just meet at the dock, 0 dark 30. Throw some top water as the sun starts to break. Do a little bit of running around, pitching the docks. then once the bite starts to slow down, then we go trolling.
Then we go trolling.
And we got till 10 before we have to worry about the chop getting crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, as long as it isn't, we have to start trolling at first light.
I don't think so. I think you got to commit.
That starts turning on in April, though.
So I was afraid Will was going to say.
I think you got to commit because that's a lot of rigging to get.
Well, let me know how you guys make out. I'll be in Catfish's kayak, pitching docks.
Yeah.
You guys keep doing laps. I'll wave to you. But also, what's the speed's going to be like? Because if you can't create a wake till after 10,
it all depends on
what's
the
your troll
rods.
speed?
Like 2 miles an hour.
You could almost
2 miles
do
an
that.
hour.
So everybody sees you?
2 knots. 2.2 knots.
Summertime.
Does that throw a wake? Does that throw a wake in Catfish's boat?
No,
I don't think so.
No.
Does it count if it's
Those
trolling mode?
bunker spoons might throw away.
Yeah, those bunker spoons probably
more
throw
than
more
the
away.
river cooter.
One other Catfish said he'd like to try trolling for the walleye in there this year too with
Those worm harnesses.
Worm harnesses.
so I'm all for that.
It's just something
that'd
that
be
he
no problem.
hasn't really done.
Yeah.
So I really look forward to some trolls, some mad trolls.
That there's something
Trolling,
to that.
trolling.
I mean, there's an art to it, just like everything else, and a learning curve, just like everything else. But come mid-April, when we would be thinking about going to the bay, striper fishing,
Maybe that's it.
divert that energy to Lake Mead trolling. It's a lot closer.
Energy diverted.
Well, there's something ready. You got something teed up there, Buck. I can tell.
There's something to this trolling because at Nipigon,
Yeah.
Pod Dad Ron
Yeah.
caught the heck out of him. Those walleye trolling.
Did he?
Yeah, and we could try that technique as well. Besides the worm harnesses, with that blade and a worm behind it.
The bouncer, the bottom bouncer?
No, that's with the worm harness, with that bouncer weight. With
Gizmo.
that, like that banana.
Oh, yeah.
But then what we were using up there, we would just troll with a longer, like on
Like
a
an
leader.
inline spinning?
Yeah, with an inline,
Leader.
just with a spinner up front with maybe a couple of beads.
Really?
Yeah, and then another line to a hook.
A night crawler.
Like a line to
Yeah, with a night crawler on it.
What is it about night crawlers that drive walleyes crazy?
any fish. That doesn't even make sense.
But like when you're trolling for walleyes, what do you normally catch? Walleye. With a night crawler.
At Nipigon, there was
I'm
a
not
lot
sure
of
I followed
there
the
were
logic.
leeches. There were leeches in the water.
Yeah.
Northern
Nipigon.
pikes.
And I think the crawlers mimicked the
You
leeches.
think so?
Yeah.
But what about like I don't know, pick another lake where people troll for
Racetown.
Racetown. I mean, a worm harness is for trolling for walleyes, right? Like I don't know what else do you. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe people troll for smallmouth with them or something. I'm just not cool enough to know that.
I've never heard of it.
I heard that.
So there's something with the night crawler that a walleye's digging that nothing else is.
I bet you if you drug a couple worm harnesses up and at Cadoras,
you could catch some white perch.
was it Cadoras? Or where,
Yeah,
And
that's where
walleye. And walleye.
No. Where do we chop fish?
Oh, Cowan's Gap.
Cowan's Gap.
Yeah.
If you drug a couple worm harnesses up there, you're going to catch some nice trout.
You think so?
Yeah, probably.
Not walleyes.
Well, probably not walleyes, but
I'm just
But
surprised.
I'm being contrary.
Not
Because the trout.
Stop it.
I'm just saying it's not a foolproof thing. You're kind of generalizing, and I don't appreciate it.
well, no, I'm saying like
It's better than privatizing.
when people want to troll for.
You might want to cut that one out.
No, they can stay.
I don't know. You know, David Kyle used to troll for white perch with the nightcrawler harnesses.
Who?
The Deke. I don't know of anybody else, but I'm not in the trolling community.
At all.
Very much. So if anybody knows anything about nightcrawler harness trolling for anything other than walleye or white perch,
Let us know.
yeah, let us
I don't
know.
understand the whole harness thing.
Jump into our
Nightcrawler doesn't
DMs.
even have shoulders. How does it stay in the harness?
Nightcrawler yokes.
Yeah. They ain't even got no shoulders. Don't make sense.
It's complicated.
Yeah,
I suppose.
it's complicated.
Well, I don't know if it's the extra gear that I brought home from the show.
Yeah.
Or the couple of days during the show where we had some pretty nice weather. I'm going to pretend about the cold that isn't happening or about to happen.
Yeah, please do.
But I'm ready to get to fishing. I spooled up a couple of new setups.
Did you really?
And I re-spooled a couple old setups because I happened to get some new Fins 40G.
You placed an order?
All
or
up in
you?
the house. I told you I was placing an
No,
order. You must
no
have
one
been
told me.
Nope.
You must have been in Florida fishing.
Nobody told me anything.
I needed about 10 spools.
I
too,
definitely
but
need
I didn't hear anything.
No.
This is ridiculous.
I'm pretty sure I sent something out to the thread.
I don't remember
to let
that.
folks know.
You got a pontoon boat we don't know about either, bud?
Maybe. I do a lot of worm harness stuff on it.
Bottom bouncing.
But I also got, Stevie tackle bags full of new fishing gear that I brought home from the show. So
What'd
I
you
got
get?
a chance to go through some gear. And that's my favorite part of any season is the gear prep.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's
I'm starting to do that. I'm going to go through.
That's my least favorite part.
Oh, buddy, I can't
Really?
can't get enough of that. I'll spend extra hours in my basement if I can, just rigging up rods or redoing my tackle boxes, trying to figure out a better way to store this or rig that up. I love it.
Did you make bunk beds down there so you could have more room?
But I got, do all kinds of activities. Yeah.
I like to wait till either the night before or 5 minutes prior to starting.
No,
to get ready.
This is across the board though. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Archery hunting, rifle season.
you're
If
a
I'm getting ready
prepper.
for I am. I'm a bit of a prepper. It's my favorite part. So I got a couple new tackle boxes. I want to try to come up with a better way. If I get a big tackle box and make it my terminal tackle box, and just have all kinds of different hooks and weights for this and jig heads for that, all the terminal tackle all in one place, organized. That's my goal.
Have you talked at all? I don't think you have. I don't think you've talked at all on the podcast about your latest hobby that you and Hunter have picked up this winter.
Oh.
Have you?
No? Well, I think I mentioned it, that he got some stuff to start making soft plastic.
Yeah. But you
We upgraded it.
You did, didn't you?
Yeah, we Santa did a pretty good job bringing some things.
Thank you, Santa.
Yeah, Santa's using the Amazons for some of the molds, which are like single shot injection molds, or like single cavity molds. So you got one plunge on your injector, and you come out with one lure.
Okay.
Well, it's cool, but I only have like 4 different molds, and by the time you get the plastic heated up and inject these 4 things, then you got to wait till it cools down and hardens, and there's a lot to it. So I'm like, we need some more molds.
Yeah.
So I moved beyond the Amazons. And I started to go to like lure making websites.
Yeah.
Dudes that are putting out like 8 cavity Ned rig molds. So one shot with the injector.
One
I've
shot
got
gets you
8
5
Ned
minutes
rigs.
worth of.
Is that even legal in this state?
Yeah, buddy.
One shot, you're fishing for 5 minutes.
Needless to say, I can now melt down, or heat up rather, 'cause it's already liquid, but I can heat up 2 cups of plastisol.
Okay.
Mix in the color. We've got all kinds of flake now, so it's glitter basically. So I was doing like a green pumpkin with a black flake.
Yeah.
I want to add some silver flake into that mix too to make it flash a little bit more. But green pumpkin with a black flake, mix up 2 cups of that stuff.
That's all you need.
And I can come out on the other side with about 50 to 60 pieces of soft plastic in under about 20 minutes.
So So not
do it all over again.
So tools. So not including the tools. So let's assume you got the tools for
tools.
free.
Tools, as in
the equipment to make this. What would 50 soft plastics cost? Ballpark to make them yourself, assuming you already had
all of that stuff. So all I need to do is buy the plastisol.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look up what the price was. I wasn't looking at prices when I was filling the shopping cart. I was like, "Oh, I need this."
That's got to be astronomically cheaper to do it.
No way.
It has to be. It has to be.
No way.
Yeah.
Once the initial investment of the equipment is made, it is.
After,
because you're buying that stuff. I think at this point, Logan's buying 5-gallon buckets of the plastisol. You know, what we bought was like a handle jug, so it's 2 gallons maybe.
Would that set you back?
Yeah, but how you mix
I think that's like $30-$40.
Really? How you mixing colors and all kinds of stuff?
But the colors are next to nothing. I have a ketchup bottle, like a 50s diner style red ketchup squirt bottle.
Yeah,
that size of green pumpkin dye to mix in with the plastisol.
Yeah,
to do 2 cups, it's like 20 drops of green. So that ketchup size thing is going to last for a long time, and that was like $6 for the coloring.
Green for days.
Green pumpkin for days.
I already told Hunter the next
black flake.
The next step is you can also get the liquid scent to make the molds have that injected smell to them.
Yeah.
You know, so we can get some
smells. Is there different smells you can get?
Garlic and that crab anus stuff or whatever it is.
Uncle Bobby's
stuff.
There's a lot.
All kinds of options. I think garlic was the only thing that kind of stuck, but that I remember seeing.
What's it?
So 2.5 gallons of this stuff.
Yeah.
That's hundreds.
Oh yeah, I can't even begin to tell you.
We're back
like I
to
said,
math.
We're back to math.
We're over 100 baits that we
Bucky,
poured.
I'm going to clear this up. You're not allowed doing math.
The rest of us can attempt it.
But you had me doing it when you're talking about it.
No, we didn't.
Yes, you did.
I honest, you have play it back. I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask.
If you buy an 8-pack of the leading soft plastic manufacturers,
you're over $6-7.
You're $6-7.
And right there, the 2-gallon
anyhow
plastisol, $40.
$40.
Yeah. So if you don't have that initial investment cost,
which I wouldn't, because you already
have that for you.
Well played, Stevie. I see what you did there, bud.
But I mean, we went, like many things that I do in my life, I went way overboard.
Did you?
Once I have
anything it's worth doing is worth overdoing.
Once I have an idea in my head that I like the idea of doing something, then I go full bore.
Nuts.
So, I've got extra and specialized glass pouring containers that they're not even Pyrex.
Oh man,
there's like a special thing.
Better than Pyrex.
I've got
what?
I've got special rubber gloves that we use. So when you're melting this stuff up, because it has to get to 350 to 370 degrees when you're heating it. Well, how are we going to know the temperature of this? Oh, okay. So I got a infrared heat gun to tell me the temperature of this stuff. Like, I went over the top.
Yeah,
you did it right
with the prep work.
Sounds like you did it right.
It sounds like you did it right.
Yeah. The only thing I could have done differently, or that I could still do as far as upgrades go, is purchase another injector.
Yeah.
Which is like if you think of that big plunger looking deal. I could buy another injector and a blending a blending block, they call it, and do 2 color pours. So you inject it, one plunge pushes the color, 2 different colors out of each of the tubes into this blending block, and they come out and inject into your mold. So you've got like the top half of the worm is one color and the bottom half of the worm is another color.
Oh.
Yeah. That's the next step.
Is it?
Yeah. Now, a lot of these open pour molds that I picked up, which was the other upgrade that we did, now not everything is even injection mold. I can open pour some stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to be super easy because I can heat up 2 different colors, pour a little bit in like the belly of a paddle tail shad or something like that. Pour a little bit of like yellow or a whitish color, and let that cool for just a little bit, just enough to harden, and then pour like the green pumpkin in over top of that. And what happens is the really, really hot stuff hits the stuff that started to cool, and it blends itself and adheres itself to itself, but it blends the color in a little bit, so you get a nice little fade from white to almost kind of green.
No kid.
It fades up through.
So
and
it looks really natural.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's pretty slick stuff.
Can like baby bass and stuff like that.
Yeah, buddy.
Can you reuse? So if there's stuff you trim off of that, can you heat that back up and reuse it? Like, is there a
stuff
limit
you
to how
trim
many
off of
times?
that? And the last batch that we made up, I don't even know what you'd call this color, because it was made from old soft plastics that we had held on to.
All colors.
We just had a bag of broken up Senkos that we had.
So this was like stuff that we
bought.
Do you want me to save all my
chum crumbs?
Yeah, all that crap.
All your chum crumb.
All your chum crumb. Yes.
All my broken Kytex.
Yes, Kytex we could use. Anything but the last tech. I can't.
Z-Man.
I can't melt down the Z-Mans and reuse those. But any of the other worms, even the Senkos, which are full of like really, there's a lot of salt in those.
Even the Mega Strikes?
Not a problem. Especially the Mega Strikes, bud.
So you can melt. So if I get a bunch of chewed up, you know, when you wacky rig a Senko and you get a hit on it, you tear it up.
Yep.
And it's not worth anything anymore.
You give it to me, I'll melt it down.
You can melt it down.
Sure. Now, the other thing that I can do is with the plastisol that I'm buying, $40 for 2 gallons. When I mix that up and I put in the color and I put in the fleck and I got the scent injected into it and I got it all exactly how I want it, I add a little bit of iodized table salt to that, and I make my own Senko.
Bob's your uncle, you got a Senko.
It just, all that does, it's literally salt that you're adding to your mixture when you're heating it up, and it just makes it heavy and makes it sink. Yep. And I have the mold to shoot 4-inch Senkos in one shot.
Do you?
Yep.
What other molds you got?
I got Senkos, I got Ned rigs, I got a couple really cool paddle tail, like swim baits.
Yeah.
I have a 6-inch diamondback worm.
No way. Did you get
It's a little disappointing. It's not what I wanted.
It's not the diamondback.
It's not the 6-inch diamondback.
And I don't know if I don't know what Uncle Joe's running with the scared fishless.
Yeah.
Like that thing lasts forever.
Yeah. This stuff is not indestructible. It's not Elastec. You pull on it and it's going to start tearing. But to Stevie's point, melt it down. Yeah.
Galvanized rubber in there. Do a blend.
Yeah, do like a Michelin.
Yeah.
So, at some point,
757 on it.
Rubber smelting.
At some point, Johnny Z must have been doing this in his garage and came up with some kind of concoction that he added to it, and all of a sudden made Elastec, right? So Z-Man was born. I figure there's got to be something else out there, so I just keep mixing and adding new stuff in.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's another one of these things that's pretty cool. Lots of different variations and things that we can add to it. It's going to make it fun.
I'm excited for
and
you.
And Hunter's having a good time with
That's
it.
That's good. It's a good winter hobby.
Yes.
You know what else is a good winter hobby?
What's that?
Ice fishing.
It's not a good winter hobby around here.
Yeah.
You might get about 15 minutes Saturday morning.
I kind of wrote it off this year, I guess, at least for this part of the state.
Well, that's cool. Anything. I know, Ryan, you're talking about a lot of fishing stuff, but are you at all concerned with these gobblers?
I'm ready to shoot a couple in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, there is that. I'll do some prep work.
Yeah.
But for me, it's going to end up being like mid-April when I'm out in the trout stream. I'll start breaking out the mouth calls to just warm them up a little bit.
Does that work?
Get back into practicing.
Like, have you ever tried calling?
I've actually had birds gobble back to me when I was in the trout stream.
Really?
Running the turkey calls. I've had birds gobble back.
Does that ever like...
Ain't no gobble back bird.
Stevie like out.
That was good. Yeah. No, I'm very interested in this turkey season. I know that I can.
You have some retribution coming up, right?
Yeah.
You have some birds to
Bucky
reintroduce yourself to.
Bucky does.
Where
for
are we
sure.
hunting turkeys at this year? The mountain.
I feel like we have lots of retribution because we just did it once last year.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it a couple more times.
I didn't.
That wasn't on the koozie.
And after what I saw this fall
What'd you see this fall?
in the similar vicinity,
What'd you see in the vicinity?
when I had like 20 turkey all around me,
What was this?
like second weekend to archery or third weekend to archery
Did
season.
we talk about this?
Oh, yeah, bud.
You should listen back to it.
No, we
Yeah.
didn't talk about this. You had 20 birds around you.
Yeah, bud.
I don't know that this is something that he would just sit on. Bucky's not known to.
Well,
he
this
gets
is
some
true.
content. He's
Yeah, it's
I-
out there,
I
bud.
stand corrected. So 20 birds.
Yeah, somewhere around.
A lot of birds.
A lot of
Yeah,
birds.
Yeah.
catfish.
I won't hold you to the
Catfish
census.
tells you, yeah, I forgot to tell you, that 30 birds around me, blah, 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 blah. Like, I believe that. Bucky gets information like that, and he can't wait to tell people.
Oh, yeah.
Shouts it from the rooftops.
Were they shooter birds?
Heck yeah, they were. There were beards in there.
I don't know. A shooter bird. I just coined that term.
Well, in springtime, it should have a beard.
Yeah.
Beard.
I can tell you that.
They were
There we
shooters.
go. They were
Check those
shooters.
regs.
Check your regs.
But
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I think that I want to scout so much more.
Yep.
I want to get in the woods. I want to be learning about birds.
You know, you
'Cause-
can't just say that and not need to field a bunch of questions. When do you start
Now,
scouting
Yesterday.
birds?
Now,
2 weeks ago.
and then at the same time, you're doing early season whitetail scouting as well.
Are you putting them to bed?
No, you just
Or you?
You heard somebody say that once.
Yeah. Yeah.
no, you don't do
Back
that.
in the day, like how, when you're scouting them, what do you this time of the year? When are you going out? When are you? What are you looking for?
If you're gonna, you do. You're gonna be out in the morning. You're gonna listen for them. You're gonna watch field edges.
Watch them come off the roost.
Yeah, like you're gonna sit on field edges. You're gonna watch them come out and different things like that. You're just gonna try and pattern them to the best you can. You might be able to hear them sound
You know
off.
what's amazing
What's that?
is you can. It seems like every animal has something in common, and that's that whole patterning ability to pattern them. You know, depending on season or whatever, that they all there's something. There's a way to outsmart them if you watch them long enough.
Every living thing lives in a pattern, or a
Creature of
pattern of
habit.
patterns.
Yeah.
In fact,
And I don't know that. At least I don't know that the average person appreciates that about wildlife. You know what I mean? That's a pretty. I don't know. This is off topic.
no, I
it's
think
not.
I don't think it is.
I don't know enough.
It's an interesting.
Yeah, it definitely. I don't know enough about turkeys
Characteristic.
to answer all your questions.
Yeah.
I'm pathetic when it comes to turkey
But
hunting.
they're gonna, fly down at the same time or nearly the same time every day. They're gonna go to food and close to the same place every day. Then they're gonna come back.
But then, just like the whitetail, when light starts to change, that triggers a breeding instinct inside of them, just like in other species. So, and they're spring breeders, not fall breeders, and then language of love and that
Always
kind of
been
a
my
pattern
problem.
comes
There's
to.
one big difference, and the turkey is a unique creature with this.
What is it?
The big difference is the females go to the male. So you think about hunting whitetails and stuff, right?
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
trying
for
to.
yourself.
Dang it. Oh, that was good. Good job, Will. Well, I don't necessarily mean humans. I mean other
gotcha.
large game
wildlife.
species. But yeah, in the turkey world, the females go to the male. That whole strutting, right, blowing up into full bloom, tail fan opened up, the sound of the gobble. It's all to attract the females. Where you think about whitetail, the bucks chase the does around and stuff like that, and they try to get them to stay put. But mostly it's bucks chasing does until they're ready.
I would love to, I've never turkey hunted. I would love to see that whole strut gobble. I bet that's pretty incredible.
All it takes is one time within 100 yards, and you'll never not turkey hunt.
Yeah.
If you hear one go off and then you're within 100 yards of it in the woods, it's just the hair on the back of your neck stands up.
That's pretty cool.
Stuff goes crazy.
I can get you close, I'm pretty sure.
Bucky knows there's 20 of them. Maybe I'll ask him.
No, definitely go with Buck.
Not during the season, because I never see him. Well, I do. I've seen him once during the season.
Yeah.
But we found a pretty good roosting location near where I shot my buck.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I might put a little time in the spring. Now, I've always said that area holds birds in the fall, but I don't see them there in the spring. So I'm interested to see what happens.
This is not going to be good for a podcast, but how do you get to those birds?
How do I get to those birds?
Yeah.
I would have to stay down into the woods. They're going to fly out because we're really close to the edge of a field. They're going to be flying down and making their way into the fields. I have to call them back into the woods. The only way I'm getting to those birds is calling well and not a lot. I have to entice them.
Yeah.
I got to be good. So if I don't get at them the first week of turkey season, they'll get call shy and I won't shoot them.
You know what I'd do? I'd get in that stand we put up right next to where they're roosting. And then when they fly down, try and pick one off.
Well, but the thing is,
there's no way that I'm just saying.
They don't.
You're up on a knoll.
Let gravity pull them down. Like they fly down and they're going to be flying away from that.
Yeah, typically.
Take them.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be flying back toward our property. They're going the other way.
That's what I'm saying. I think that so the best way I can describe this is like there's a stream, gully stream, and
gully stream.
It goes up onto a flat, like it's a steep hill, up onto a flat, and then a slight gradual whatever up into a field, and the field is not it's not your property.
Yep.
So there's like no room to get these birds.
Nope. I got to let them go do their thing and then get them to come back to me. Here's, in all honesty, here's what I'm hoping for. Youth Day. I'm hoping Hunter can kill them. Because after opening day, they're going to be so call shy from everybody else hunting them.
Yeah.
They won't come back into a call. If I can't kill them Youth Day, my next best day.
How much longer does he have? Because he seems like he's getting old to be.
He turns 16 this year.
So
coming up. So this is last year. He's got his junior license.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I'm like, I'm happy for him, but like you keep going to that youth well. He's just getting bigger and bigger.
Well, then I take Addie out.
Yeah, it's good. You got another one.
But here's the next best option. And this is something for you guys to consider too.
Grandkids?
No, is it the second week? Check your regs. I'd have to look at the book again. Second week or third week when afternoon opens up.
Yeah.
Because the first couple of weeks, it's morning only. Got to be out of the woods
by noon.
No hunting afternoon, out of the woods by 1. But then they open it up till dark.
Why is that?
For the second half. It's for the hens to stay on the nest.
Nesting hens.
Yeah, so just give them a break.
So you can hunt the morning.
Correct. And you got to leave them alone in the afternoon.
So they could go back to the nest at 1 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And sit on the nest.
The theory is that they're just not being disturbed in the evenings.
Gotcha.
So they can be on the nest at night.
Gotcha.
In the afternoons and evenings. But the second half of the season now in Pennsylvania, because most of the eggs have hatched or something. I don't
broods.
That thing. I guess is what this theory is that at that point it's okay. So they opened it up for full day hunting, second half of the season. But the birds that are used to and are now call shy from having dudes calling at them for 2 weeks or 3 weeks now. They're also used to the woods getting really, really quiet in the afternoons. Nobody's bothering them. So you hit them that first day that the evening hunt opens up.
Gotcha.
You hit them again right before dark, because again, these turkeys fly up a lot earlier than you would think. You picture like that last half hour of daylight when you're deer hunting, like this is when the deer are going to move. At that point, most turkeys are already in bed. So, but you hit them before they fly up to roost. You may get one to just gobble back and come running in, and this is a bird that's been call shy for 3 weeks and won't even look at somebody else. You hit him with a couple little soft purrs,
Little afternoon delight.
He's like, who's that?
Skyrocket.
And goes and visits them.
Have you ever seen a turkey like in the afternoon roosting, like walking through the woods and
Taking a nap.
Fly up.
Nap.
See them fly up?
Yeah, like really.
Yeah, flying up to bed. They are the clumsiest creature in all of the world.
I bet.
I'm surprised I haven't seen one die yet from it. But like I've seen them fly up, land on a branch. The branch breaks. They flop down to the next branch, and it breaks when they stop on it. And they're just like boom, boom, boom down to the ground. Clumsy, dumb, ugly animals.
Is it?
But I love them.
In Mexico, when those ocellated turkeys take their afternoon naps, they go to the siesta, not the roost. Just when
I had a feeling siesta was working its way in there.
It was slow rolled.
So, Will, I would say I'm pretty excited about it too.
Yeah, good. Now, I hope that I can. Anytime I feel like now that I did what I did last year, I'm able to do like the scouting and stuff like that. I've learned so much about deer. Why wouldn't I learn more about turkeys?
If you take what you applied to your deer season, do the same thing with turkeys. I hope you bought a second gobbler tag for this year, because you're gonna slay them, bud.
Oh yeah, I got it.
You need that second tag.
I might slide on down to Virginia too.
Why not?
Yeah.
Kill a 45 pounder down there.
Big old hips.
I heard that.
Well, boys, say it, Will. I don't want to take it from you.
You know what, boys?
What's that, bud?
I think we did this topic a little justice.
You know what's great? We were talking earlier, and in full disclosure, we were talking earlier, and everybody's week was spent at the outdoor show. And Bucky said, what are we going to talk about? It's just going to happen. It'll just happen.
I didn't even get to talk about my haircut this week.
And those are
but that's for people to figure out on the socials.
On the Facebook.
We'll be looking forward to that, Buck.
Yeah.
You figured out, folks.
Got a special haircut.
You sure did, bud. All right. Well, I think it's probably time for us to get out of here. You guys go look for Bucky's haircut on the socials. Keep an eye out for that. But Stevie, when they're not looking for
Bucky's special
haircut,
the Bucky special,
where can folks find us?
You can find us at RuttenRiverPursuits.com on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media. Just search for Rotten River Pursuits podcast. Check out the YouTubes.
Love them YouTubes.
And subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Leave us a review, and Bucky will
read it on the air.
Yes, he will.
Maybe. We're not making any promises. Just leave us a review. It helps.
You should do that.
All right.
Leave us a review, and Bucky will thank you.
Yeah.
Personally.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah, we're not guaranteeing that either, but leave us a review.
Sounds good. Good on you, boys.
Rig and weedless.
See ya.
Peace.
Trash bed hip quiver. What was the other one we used to say?
Get outdoors.
Get outdoors. But the button's nice. It classes it up a little bit.
churches it up. Huh?
Yeah.
And if there's anything I know for sure about Stevie,
He
in his orange beanie cap and his
Classy.
red fox
He loves flair.
Class it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs about 10 pieces
He's
of
got
flair just
flair
to go.
for days.
certain panache to him.
But I had the moon tide, and I was on the bank
During the slack moon.
during a slack moon, the outgoing moon.
A waxing gibbous.
You guys are relentless. I love that about you.
Is that what you loves about us?
That's what I love about
That's
you.
why he clocks in every day.
Yep.
I've actually had birds gobble back to me when I was in the trout stream
Really?
running the turkey calls. I've had
so-
birds gobble back.
Does that ever
I
like?
ain't no gobbleback bird.
Stevie like out.
That's good. Yeah.